Oi, oi, guys. I hope you can hear me all right, because all of a sudden the wind's picked up a bit and I haven't got my old fluffy air blocker on my mic. I just got the little fuzzy one. So I'm hoping that you can hear me okay, because I won't know until I get back and then look at it and go, well, I can't use that. So if you're actually watching this, it was actually probably okay, because I will have a look at it and make sure before it gets put out there. But anyway, I hope everybody's having a great week. And I normally put out a Friday morning one, but I went off to the chiropractor. I go to the chiropractor on the Friday mornings, and I go and see Joe first. Big shout out to Joe, freaking banging fella. He's the old physical therapist there, and I tell you what, holy cow. And some of this story gets wrapped up into that as well with Joe. And then, you know, I got the adjustment from James, and we had a right old laugh while I was in there, because he's from England as well. So we're often having a bit of banter. So all good. Go and check them out down there. Great people. Anyway, because it's wrapped with the story comes in with Joe as well. So I want to make this about kind of like grief and loss, you know, because there's a bit of a hum. There's a hum both ways. I mean, there's the loss, like grief hum going on, and then there's the, you know, there's always another side. Always going to be another side. There's always going to be, you know, happy, sad. You don't know what sadness is unless you've been happy, and you don't know what happy is unless you've been sad. Because it's opposites, right? But you know, what I tell my guys that I work with when we're talking about grief, and people, you know, when you have a loss of a relationship or a friendship, like that kind of thing, you know, some of them can be really, you know, deep relationships with friends and that, and then all of a sudden there's that drift that goes on, and you know, that comes down to loss. But there's also that grieving, and I call that a form of grieving. Or if someone, you know, you're with someone and you're unhappy in the relationship, and but you're staying there and you don't want to leave, because it's going to cause that grief, loss, you know, some guilt, some things like that will come into play as well. But you know, when we get into those areas of grief, those areas, there's always something there. There's, you know, if a relationship breaks up, that person's there somewhere. If there's a job loss or something, right, there's the fact that the job is actually there and working, and right, and it's getting a bit windy. I hope it's all right on the old mic. Because it's always there, so it's always, the mind is always pulled with it, because it's still there. When there's a grief around an actual death, I'm not saying no, you don't ever get over it, because I wouldn't say that at all. I mean, my dad passed 30 years ago, and he still comes to mind, and I'll sometimes be like, you know, swallowing heavy, right? But it's something that's there, and there's the work starts the process with the brain, because it's not there now. Well, on the other side, you know, and it can come down to all kinds of things. Losing a competition, right? Losing a job, losing a friend, losing a pet, which is where this started going. Because, well, let me turn around. Walk this way. That's better. That's sun. Whew. I got down to Joe, and he just looked a little bit like his eyes are a little puffy and shit. And I'm like, you all right, man? And he lost his dog. And I freaking completely, my heart sunk. It's like freaking one, and it's one of the kids. It's not like, it is. I know with my guy, he's like me boy. I call him me boy. Cool, dear, you having a laugh on that, boy? What the bloody hell was that? Jeez, sounds like you got to wind it up. But you know, you're freaking, your pets, man. They are part of the family. Don't ever feel terrible about or feel bad about breaking down over grief of an animal as well. Because I know when my guys have bleeding passed away, it's been freaking rough, especially after my last guy. Because he was part of like an emotional support thing for me as well. Because I would, he just seemed to know and be around me when the damn, you know, if my head was going a little bit kind of wonky. But hang on, let me cross over the road here before I freaking get absolutely. Oh look, see, someone coming around the bloody. That's not good, is it? Puts me in the shade a little bit. But you know, I really felt him. Give him a hug. You know, brought him in, let him know that, hey, dude, you know, that shit's rough. That shit's rough. But then the process of healing begins. When there's a kind of a loss of something, right? Like I say, there's people grieving the loss now across the nation. But it's about, you know, it's just like with a death. There comes a point where it's like an acceptance. Not that you completely accept, because it's really high. I don't know how, each individual's different. So I'm not saying this is all same for everybody, because it's not. I understand that. Let me turn this around. Because it's not, and I understand that. Bloody hell, cut them all bleeding. I don't know what those bikes are. I'm not saying it's freaking, because it's different for everybody. I work with guys, it's all different. Everybody's different. You can't paint everybody with the same brush when it comes to grief, but there's certain patterns that come with it, one of them being anger as well. And anger plays a role because it's all the, you know, the whys come into play, and especially if it's, you know, it could be rolling around even suicide. And then that puts a whole different spin on things, right? It's a loss. But, well, you know, it's a whole different, sends the mind somewhere else. So the anger is going to come into play, absolutely. But the thing to do is, like with relationship or friendship disappearing or things like that, or losing at something, you just come back stronger. Come back stronger. Loss of a job. Where do you want to go now? What do you want to do? Can you study for something and make yourself, you know, in a different perspective on self? Like, well, if I study this is what I gain. That gives you worth and purpose, let me tell you. Because when I do reading and that, and I learn stuff, and then I'm talking to my guys about it that I work with, I'll tell you what, there's nothing like that. Great feeling. So bettering yourself as far as that's concerned, right? Are you in a job that you really like? Oh, I really don't like doing this, but I want to go over there, right? I'm talking someone through it right now. That kind of process. Yeah. What if you've had a friend just push away? Well, you know, start looking at the fact that if you're changing, and you're changing your whole perspective on different things, and you have different outlooks, maybe that doesn't jive anymore. That's okay. It's okay. You don't mold yourself into a position of, you know, basically suffering, right? To help the other person out. If that's the case, that's the case. It doesn't mean that they're not there, because I know there's people that I've drifted with, but I know I could pick up that phone and go, hey man, and boom, all good. It'd even come out like, hey, where you been? Shit like that, right? I know it would. But it's, you know, it's coming back stronger. Coming back stronger. What about a relationship, right? What if there was something on our side, yeah, that we didn't see? Putting our hand up and having an understanding, but changing, coming back stronger, right? Changing the habit that may be causing whatever it is. You know, it's not like victim. It's okay. What do I do now? Accepting the fact that this has happened. Now I'm going to come back stronger. If you're winning a sport, if you're losing a sport or a competition with a sport or anything, what do? Sit back and go, no, you train, you watch, you look at things of yourself, like doing the action, correcting things here and there. And when it gets down to really, up there with a sport, that can come down to literally moving a foot a certain way. But if you're not doing it in that competition and you're not winning the competition, now you know how to do it. Now you can come back stronger. Always look to come back stronger. With grief, as far as losing something, as far as, a person, human being, yeah, everybody goes through that in their own ways. Like, I'm not even gonna attempt to say that I know and can understand, because everybody's different. I know what I went through with certain losses in my life, and it's never easy unless you don't think anything of the person, and it's right, and then it's like, oh well. But there's certain things, and I'm kind of wondering if I've lost now, like even friend-wise, and not fully knowing, but but I'm not gonna bring a perspective in that I make a reality, because we can do that too. Come back stronger every time. Don't accept failing, right? Because failing, the only way, I told someone that this week too, like the only way you can fail is if you sit back and you're like, oh well, it's better to look at what happened, check things out, what can I change, what can I do different, and have the passion enough, big enough passion. You got big enough passion for something and you're going for a goal, it will far outweigh the fear, and that brings on action. Go that route. Do that. Hope everybody has a great weekend. I'm going to start heading back in a minute because I'm kind of walking like, where am I going? I think I'm heading for the shade. I think that's where my energy's taking me, because I'm like, oh, it's kind of in and out of the lovely shade, and there's a bit of a breeze. I hope you ain't killing the mic. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Love each and every one of you. And remember, come back stronger, right? Stay in that course. Coming back stronger. Coming back the right way. Again, much love to all of you. Stay that course. Namaste.